because talk is cheap, and I really don't like doing these. However, I think it's important to share this. This was published by Scholastic under the direction of the National Gallery of Art. Volume 9, Number 5, March 1979. I think I own 5 copies. This is one of hundreds of these that were being tossed in a dumpster at a school in Milwaukee that I really questioned what was all getting thrown out. And I went and rescued this because to me it seemed very important to grab these. They are amazing little magazines, art and man. All right, so in here we have the first collage. When Pablo Picasso pasted the first scrap of newspaper on his canvas, he changed the entire history of painting. Wow, that's pretty amazing. It was 3 in the morning. Pablo Picasso was hard at work as usual. This was the time he loved to paint. 3 a.m. I can relate. The rest of the world was asleep. I can relate to that too. And there was no one around to disturb him. But that night, the work wasn't going so well. He sat down and looked at the painting he was working on. It was made up of little squares and straight lines. He'd done a lot of paintings like it, and up to now, creating each one had been exciting. He remembered the very first painting of its kind he'd ever done, back in 1907. It was a painting of people, but he had broken the figures up into flat planes and cubes. What a scandal that picture had caused. Everyone had just hated it. Some people thought he'd gone crazy, and the rest were furious that he could have done anything so hideous. Only a few people were able to understand what he was trying to do. It was all very exciting. But that was 5 years ago. Now every artist in Paris seemed to be painting works like Picasso's, and they all looked the same. You couldn't tell a painting of a still life from that of a person. They were all made up of nice, neat little squares, and here he was painting yet another one. Picasso was bored. He wandered around his studio, stopping to wipe his brush on some old newspapers. An article caught his eye, and he smiled as he reached for the scissors and cut out an ad for a mouthwash. He pasted it on a piece of cardboard and, with a few quick lines, drew a mouth and a nose on top of the newspaper. He added several squares of color paper and drew the rest of the figure. The first collage, French for paste, had been created. Picasso was delighted. By putting actual objects in his works, he felt his art had begun to live again. In the next few months, just about everything Picasso saw around him ended up as a work of art. A crumpled bag became a hat for a work on our cover, Student with a Pipe. French students at the time wore hats shaped just like this. He used wallpaper, newspaper, linoleum, and cloth in the collage at left, guitar. You can find the different parts of the instrument, the body, the sound hole, the keys, and look at the article at the bottom of the newspaper in guitar. It is an ad for an eye doctor. What might Picasso be saying about the people who had trouble figuring out his cubist collages? Picasso did scores of collages, but only for a year or two after this. Once he had explored the medium of the collage, he went on to new challenges. Even at 92, he was still searching for new ways to show reality as he saw it. One of the really cool things about Picasso as an artist is he didn't just stick with one thing, he was constantly being driven to do this, that, whatever. He was, as I say, artistically cursed, and I do understand that. He knew reality. With his collages and found art sculptures, Pablo Picasso proved that anything can be art. And then there's a whole lot to read here, and I'm not going to read all this because it's getting late and I'm getting tired, but we're just going to take a look at these amazing little magazines, and I will be sharing um, all of what I have in my I Saved It collection. It's kept in a metal filing cabinet. I have given somebody who enjoyed art a complete collection of these, but I am holding onto them for dear life because the world is just strange. The fantasy world of collage. And these are just beautiful, beautiful. They should have never gone to a dumpster. No, no, and oh no. James Furr and his Space from Space. And what happened to this form of education in our classrooms? Where did that go? Don't ask, don't tell. Student Artist of the Month. Pretty cool. Creating with collage. How can you do a work of art without drawing or painting? You already seen some of the collage techniques used by famous artists. Now you have a chance to create a photo montage, a kind of collage of your own. And here it goes through the little steps for students to how do I make a collage? Yeah, yeah, put down your electronic devices. Get your children, your grandchildren to cut, clip. Go find a newspaper. Go find a phone book. Yeah, quickly put phone book pages into a poster board. Poster board is cheap. Glue is inexpensive. And do some hands-on stuff, people. Creating a transfer collage. And here they give you all the little steps in that. Isn't that pretty neat? That's pretty neat. Art's Alive. Painter of Dreams, Giorgio de Chicaro, 1888 to 1978. The Bite of Humor, The Imitation of Art. Pretty darn cool. So that is Art in the Man, 1979. I had already graduated from high school for 2 years at that point, I think. Picasso and the Art of the Collage. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe. And I not only do my own coloring books, but I do the books of others. And I am going to go through my drawer and preserve what I own because you just never know what's going to happen. And whoosh, whoosh, could all be gone. So this is like a way of preserving what I consider to be an amazing treasure that I have under my roof. And you never take, ever, never, ever take for granted that you will have a roof over your head tomorrow because that's never guaranteed. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share these videos. And I thank you very, very much for that because, you know, it costs you absolutely nothing. A click, a click, a click. And it inspires me to continue. And I thank you for that.